This podcast is part of the Loosely Connected Network. Visit www.thelooselyconnected.com for more great podcast networks, Twitch streams, YouTube channels, and more.
All right, Loot Crate. You know what Loot Crate is.
Yes, I do, Tony. But why don't you tell the rest of the listeners?
Sure thing. Loot Crate is an epic collectibles and gear box delivered to your door that you subscribe to. You get exclusive loot, exclusive figures, t-shirts, home goods, and more. And it's a surprise every month, so treat yourself every month or give it to a friend or a loved one. And canceling is easy. You don't even need to call. Just update your info online, and their support team is available anytime. I'm literally reading off their website right now.
Are we trying to cut that part? You're just gonna...
I'll keep it.
No, it's fine.
It's fine. It's honest. It's on their website. Yeah. So this month, the theme is invaders. So it's called, let me read it. So forget the flying saucers. They're already here and it may be too late. Embrace your new overlords with exclusive gear featuring some of our favorite alien invaders. Looks like they have, Alien, and then the Predator, the X-Files, and Venom. So, cool.
My question is, does it have Invader Zim?
Nope.
Damn it.
Those are the only 4 things that they listed that will be in the next crate.
Oh.
Let's see. Yeah. There's also a mega crate that it's a sweepstakes. It's like a large crate of Predator stuff with an exclusive Predator mask.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. But yeah, if you guys want to get your own Loot Crate, use the promo code NTFTTPod for 10% off. Okay.
I love the Power Club.
Come with me if you want to live.
I love the Power Club.
No time for time travel.
All right. Welcome to the No Time for Time Travel podcast, where we're a podcast for nerds by nerds. My name is Tony, and joining me this week, all the way from Sweden, is Kwok.
Hello there.
What is that? A Swedish accent?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was like, why did this sound like not normal accent?
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt like my words got like in a weird area of arrangement. I was like, I'm just gonna go with this sound, whatever it sounds like.
Okay.
I couldn't make up to my mind of how to
It's
sound.
like, it almost sounded like you're like Bane wearing that mask, and then you're just talking. It's like, hello there. You have my permission to die. Anyway. We're a podcast where you guys suggest the topic of the episode for us to discuss for each episode. So this week, the topic of the episode was suggested by John Layola. He's the One Track Punk host of the One Track Punk Show and co-host of the One Track Gamers. His suggestion was I'm slowly pulling up the data. Hold on. It is talk about the early Nintendo versus Sega days. And he says, I remember I was a diehard Sega, like, I'm guessing he's supposed to say Sega fan, but he just wrote, I remember I was
he was diehard Sega.
I remember I was diehard Sega when I got a Genesis, claiming it was the best. Okay, so that'll be our topic of the episode. So, Kwok and I talked about this. We're probably just going to choose one versus the other, like a Super Nintendo or Genesis. And we're going to just kind of debate, friendly debate. I guess it's friendly if we're still friends after. So yeah, but before getting into all that, how have you been doing?
Good. I'm planning to take a trip to Berlin next week to see a friend of mine.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense, because you're going, you're heading back before our mutual friends come over to visit you, right?
Yeah. I talked to Hung,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about it, and I think he lands like 5 hours after
Okay.
I arrived, so I'm like, I'm just gonna wait at the airport for you.
Oh, okay.
Because there's no point of me going back home and then coming back to the airport, because that will take me 3 hours.
Wait, what? The airport is that far away?
Well, no. Going back from the airport to home will take like an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
and then it will take like an hour and a half to go back home or to come back from my house to the airport again.
Okay, so total
it's like, wow, that's 3 hours. I have 2 hours to do something, put my bags down, I guess. Yeah, so at this point, I'm just going to sleep at the airport if anything.
Don't you wish you have a Nintendo Switch? Okay, cool. Are you planning on doing specific things in Berlin, or is it just kind of visit and see what happens?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like a friend I met in Japan. He happened to be German.
Oh,
and then, yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, why don't you just come over and then you can stay at my place and I'll show you around." Like, okay. So I'm just gonna go over there and then see what happens. He said he's moving next week or the end on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So his place is a bit weird.
Okay.
It's a bit weird of what you call it it's too much. He's packing things up, so it's a bit messy in that sense.
It's okay. You have like more, like the boxes could be also your bed too.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm fine with it, whatever.
Yeah.
So as long as there's a place for me to sleep, I'm okay. By sleep I mean like a ground.
Yeah. That reminds me too. This show I've been watching, it's called The Road Trick, and it's a magician. He goes around Europe and trying to connect with people with magic. And what you just told me about meeting someone in Japan and then them letting you hang out in Europe, that reminds me of 2 separate episodes on that show. One of the early episodes, I think he was in like the Danish area and he met some people. And then in a later episode in like way like North Europe, he went to visit the person he had met back on his first day of the trip. And then,
cool.
Yeah, and that guy was showing him around, and it turns out that guy was, what's it called? It's not hang gliding, it's paragliding. So the guy is like a paraglider.
Mm-hmm.
So then he got the magician guy to go paragliding, which was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so speaking of shows, this is not really a show. It's more like what YouTube recommended to me. I sent it to the chat with you and Lam as well earlier.
Oh, the video?
Yeah, the video. But it was like a Jenga competition.
Mm-hmm.
Like the World Championship for Jenga.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how this how well known Jenga is to most listeners, but it's pretty much just not a building, like I guess like a tower, a mini tower of building blocks, stacked with the bottom of threes, and you try to slowly take away pieces. Each person take away a piece each turn, and then stack it up on the top and try not to make it fall over, and the one that falls over lose, that sort of thing. But yeah, I was watching it. I had it on in the background because YouTube recommended it to me. I was like, okay, whatever. This is kind of random, and I was just having a background, just doing other random things. But the announcer made it very entertaining, and I found myself like going back and watching it and actually sitting down and being engaged into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I ended up watching like more than the whole video itself was like 55 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
For one match.
Oh, really?
One whole game took like 55 minutes.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I guess we'll see what happens, how long this takes. I think the sidetrack, I think the reason I clicked on it was like I saw one of the participants. He was like posing on a couch.
Mm-hmm.
He's like lying down on a couch posing, and I just thought it was so random, funny, and I wanted to know why he did that. But anyways, the thing about it is, you know how like animes, they tend to have that flair of making mundane things exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt it was like that when I was watching it. I was like, this is weird, and I was really engaged throughout the most of it that I actually watched, and I watched like all the way until the end, which was amazing, by the way. And I was like, okay, I want to send it to my friends and then just see what happens. And so you guys, or you and Lam, and then I also sent it one of my old colleague of mine, that I used to work with, and I told him I sent him the link, and he's like, I don't have like 55 minutes to spare.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't worry, I just left it on in the background because like the announcers, they were really entertaining. I was like, oh, okay, I can leave it in the background, that's fine. And I think about like 15 minutes in, he's like, I can't stop watching. So he was like me, where it's like you just have it in the background. Then all of a sudden you just found yourself somehow engaged into watching it, and it was just really entertaining to see his perspective. Or he shared the same perspective I did. Man,
I'm a little worried now because I feel like I might do that, and I don't really have time. So
no, Tony, you do. You're fine.
Huh?
No, Tony, you'll be fine. Just watch it.
Okay.
Just
okay.
No, don't tell your fiance. I told you not to watch it though.
No, actually, I was gonna watch it later with her.
Okay, good. Well, just have it in the background and see what happens. I want to see how. I want to test out this theory.
Okay.
It's like yeah. Anyways, that's what happened to me today, and that was just really entertaining.
I wonder how Lamb's doing. He probably stopped talking to the chat because he's watching it.
I mean, I don't mind. I did my job promoting the internet.
Yes. All right. So let's see what else.
How's working your life, man?
Well, I'm excited for my Japan trip coming up. So.
Oh, that's right. When are you going?
I think after Hung and Steve leave from you, that's when I'm going. Like I'm flying out the 21st.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and shout out to Shay from Sword Chomp. I was asking him about some suggestions about what to do in Japan, and, because he lives there. So he gave me some good suggestions, and it's kind of scary for me because the big typhoon just happened, and yeah, so I was a little worried. I wasn't sure if I should cancel it. Yeah. But Shay said that by the time I leave and go there, the typhoon and everything, they should be gone. So yeah, and he gave me a few suggestions of things to do, and it was pretty cool. So we're going to do some of the things that he suggested.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited because I can finally break my keto diet for an extended time now while I'm in Japan because ramen.
So, is this your first time in Europe?
Europe? You mean?
Oh, Japan? Sorry. First time across the country. I was thinking. Sorry, I was thinking about mutual friend. That you go with our mutual friend for some reason.
Oh no. I haven't been to Europe, and I still won't be for a while. I want to. I just haven't. Japan, first time in Japan. But not the first time in an Asian country. I've been to Thailand when I was a little kid. As a kind of layover for Vietnam. Oh, okay. And then Taiwan as well. So I don't remember anything. Like, literally, I don't remember anything.
So all of those are pretty much just trips from when you were younger then?
Yeah. The only thing I remember, even when I went to Vietnam, I stayed there for 2 weeks, right? I didn't even remember much, except, like, at that time, it was, like, early 90s. Like, no one really owned NES at home. It was all, like, at the, kind of, like, their version of PC cafes, but instead of like there's no arcade or anything. It's just all like the video game systems. Yeah, yeah, and then you pay like by the hour or something.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. So I went there and that's the only thing I really remember is that, and then also playing a ninja game on one of my relatives' computers. Yeah. Oh, and then also being on motorcycles going up the mountain and being scared that I'll fall off the mountain. Yeah.
That sounds about right, Tony.
Yep. Yeah. I remember playing Double Dragon in Vietnam, like Double Dragon 2 on NES, and then there was like a code where every time you hit select with some button, it would skip the level. Okay. Yeah. I tried it when I got back home because I had the game at home and it didn't work. So there was some kind of like, I guess the version of that game in Vietnam was like modified in the code or so. Okay. Yeah, so they allowed that to happen. But yeah, I thought that was weird and interesting. My first exposure to non-regular games, like hacked games, pretty much. Yep. Yeah. Oh, and of course, I just told you this. I released my first music album.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you. What?
Oh, no, I was going to tell more about it for the listeners.
Oh, yeah. So as of today, my album, it's called Fairy Tale Solstice. The album's it's on iTunes and Apple Music and Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, a few other ones, and it's still being currently in process for approval for more worldwide ones. So yeah, if you guys want to listen to it, you guys can just search for it. Search for Fairy Tale Solstice. Don't search for my name, because my name doesn't show up as high when you search for it right now. So, but if you search for the album name, it actually comes up as the first choice. And the reason why, so I wrote that song Fairy Tale Solstice a long time ago. I named it Fairy Tale Solstice because it sounded kind of like a fairy tale-ish song. And but I added Solstice to it because I was surprised that there was nothing written out there with that name. No song has ever been written with the name Fairy Tale Solstice, which is extremely rare. Extremely rare to find, a title that hasn't been used before.
Yeah.
So I kept that name, and I have a bunch of other songs on my album. But all the other songs' names are Growth and Search for Happiness and Essence of Time, and they're cool names, but then they're not unique enough. And also because the Fairy Tale Solstice song was my very first song I wrote, I just named the entire album as that, and because of that, it's more unique when it's in the search results. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So in terms of naming convention wise, no one really has that naming name.
Yeah. So
okay.
Just now. So I wrote that song such a long time ago, but even today when I search for that name, the first thing that comes up is my super, super old video of 10 years ago of me playing an early version of that song. There's no other song out there that has that name. There are songs called Fairy Tale, and then there are songs called something Solstice, like Winter Solstice. But there's no song called Fairy Tale Solstice. So I'm very, very happy about that. I'm very yes, I got a unique name. Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, if you guys want to listen to it, you guys can stream it if you guys have Spotify. And if you guys have YouTube Music, you could also stream it there. Let's see. Otherwise, I think the album it was auto priced, so I didn't have a say in the pricing of it. So, the album is an extended play. It's a 6-song album, and it is $5.94. Was it? I think it comes out to be 99 cents a song. So yeah. So it's
so how does it work with the naming price? Or you applied for iTunes, right?
Yeah, I actually went through another service. They are known to be one of those services that you submit your first package to, and then they review your entire package to make sure it meets the requirements for all the other distributors out there. And then once it meets it, then they submit it for you on your behalf to everywhere else.
Oh, well, where's everywhere else?
Well, let me see. So let me just look up my account right now. Hold on.
Yeah.
They have experience, whatever they have experience with, right? And then whoever they are contracted with. So iTunes is one of them. Apple Music. Let's see. They just started contracting with Facebook. I didn't know Facebook had a music portion to it. Yeah. Let me see. Apple Music, YouTube Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Play, Pandora, then iHeartRadio. There's this thing called Deezer. I don't know what it is. Some of them are international. Napster. I didn't know Napster was still available.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Right there.
Yeah, MediaNet, TouchTunes, Verve, Life, Tidal, Gracenote, Shazam. So my song is recognizable on Shazam now, which is pretty cool. 7 Digital, Juke, Slacker, KKBox, Akazoo, Angami, Spinlet, Neurotic Media, Yandex, Target Music, Claro Musica, Zvook, Savin, 8 Tracks, Cusick, QAC, Boomplay, and Simfi Africa. And then, what was that?
No, go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
Oh, and then Amazon On Demand.
So when you were saying a kazoo, I was like, what? Somebody's going to play a kazoo? And then...
Wait, there was a kazoo on here?
I heard kazoo. I'm not sure if that's what you said.
Oh yeah. It's called akazoo.
Akazoo. Yes.
Yeah.
I heard a kazoo. I was like, That's like a kazoo.
Yeah, it's
like
actually
a musician. Actually, the company give it to a random musician that plays out a kazoo.
Yeah, it's funny because it's spelled just like a kazoo, but one word.
Yeah, I expect nothing less.
Yeah.
It's exactly how I wanted it.
Oh, cool. And it's accessible on smart TVs.
Oh, smart TVs.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Really interesting. Yeah, so I don't really know what's going to happen, but, you know, I really wanted to publish a music album for a long time now.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so I finally did it, and we'll see how it goes.
Oh, well, good luck, man.
Yep.
So far, it's been. Do you get to see like the record, like not the record, but like kind of like the keep track of it, of like how it does,
Like the analytics?
Yeah, the analytics of things.
I do, but then it's updated once a week. So the first analytic updates I'll have by the end of Friday, which is today.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Yeah, it says right now you do not have a balance, meaning no one has bought my music yet as of before today's analytics. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, let's see what else. Should we move on to the news?
Sure.
All right, so let's move on to the news. One of the things that came out recently was screenshots to the new superhero movie called Captain Marvel. I don't know if you saw the official release of the new costume, but man, it looks really good. Like,
Really?
It looks really good. I think it's like a good mix, like a mashup between like Wonder Woman's costume and Spider-Man's costume.
Which Spider-Man?
The Marvel one, the most recent. So,
okay.
Yeah. Like if you look up Captain Marvel, for the picture, the costume is pretty much like a really accurate representation of the comic one, but it's designed to look like it fits in a real action scenario, like real life. So it looks almost like a motorcycle outfit, I think. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then what's his name is going to be in the movie too? Nick Fury, a young version of him, but still played by Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So,
Yeah.
Is it something you're excited for?
Yeah, I want to see where it goes because, like, what was it? Captain Marvel is a character where they kind of changed the storyline a little bit for the movies, where she's half alien and half human.
Okay.
And she pretty much has the strength of like Superman style, like Superman status, but her humanity holds her back. I guess the way they're saying it is that it holds her back, but then I'm betting the movie is going to be like, what, you need your humanity, you know, something like that. Very like typical Superman story, pretty much, because he's an alien, but he's raised human. So,
are you excited for it?
Yeah, I am.
Hopefully, it does well.
I really hope they don't mess it up because this movie is supposed to launch the post Avengers 4 like period of time.
Oh,
because Captain Marvel is supposed to show up in the next Avengers movie as kind of like one of the people to save the world and everything, like you know, to help out and everything like that, and she's supposed to be the powerhouse. But if they mess this movie up, then I don't know how that's going to be.
What? It sounds really pessimistic, but what do you think the odds are of them messing it up?
I don't know, because they have a good track record, and it's like, I don't know, because the actress is really good. Brie Larson, she's like a really, really high caliber actress. But you can only do so much as an actress. If the script sucks, it's gonna suck. So, I don't know. I really hope they don't mess it up. It'll be cool to see everyone younger, though, because they are going to keep like a lot of the same people, but then make younger versions of them, because the movie is supposed to take place in the early 90s.
Oh, early 90s? That's like outrage.
Yeah, it's supposed to take place in that period of time. So, we'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping, like, not about Captain Marvel, but I'm hoping Venom doesn't do bad, because I really want to like that movie.
I guess I don't want it to do bad either. I do like Venom as a character, and I do like, I guess it'll be nice if it does well, surprisingly well, I guess. That's the better word. Yeah.
I mean, so far the CG for Venom on this one looks better than what I was expecting it to look.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I also had low expectations because Sony. So, yeah.
Maybe they'll surprise us. but being good.
Yeah. Let's see. Do you have any news items?
No, not really.
Okay.
Yep.
So Ant-Man and the Wasp, they just surpassed 600 million.
Okay.
So this year alone, the MCU has raked in over 4 billion.
Wow, that's a lot, actually.
Yeah, man, dude, it's crazy. So it was like Black Panther, and then Avengers: Infinity War, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp. Just those 3 movies, I think. And just those 3 is $4 billion of profit.
Jeez. Holy moly.
I can't even imagine seeing 4 billion in person. Like, what does that even look like?
Yeah, that's such a good point.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do I have? Oh, the Spider-Man PS4 game is almost out.
I thought it's already out. No?
Is it out? Maybe it's already out.
I'm just asking. I don't really know.
Yeah. By the time people listen to this, it's probably out. So we'll see. Let's see. Yeah, Jude Law's in the Captain Marvel movie. I don't have anything else. Yeah, I don't have anything else. Okay. So, should we move on?
Sure.
Topic of the episode.
Okay, alright, let's move on to the topic of the episode, which is pretty much Sega Genesis versus Super Nintendo. So, take a side.
Well, I think we talked about this previously, but I only know Super Nintendo. I didn't really have a Sega.
Yeah, I only know Sega Genesis because I didn't have Super Nintendo.
So we'll just both say what we know.
Okay, cool.
And I guess what did you choose aside when you were back then? I guess when you had to either get the Super Nintendo and the Sega, was that an option for you, or was it just more like you could have had both, but you just wanted Sega?
No, I only had an option of one, and I chose Sega because I fell for all the ads, I guess.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you remember, the Sega, they had like aggressive ads against Nintendo, and there was one ad that showed a side-by-side view of the video games, and it was so dumb too. So one half of it was Mario Kart, and then like when the light went green, the car was stalling. And it just went really slow. And then on the other side was Sonic just like running super fast in his game. And it was pretty much just like the whole like 90s things like Sega, you know? So,
yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Even because when you said aggressive, I immediately envisioned that voice saying Sega.
yeah, pretty much.
Like, man, that is aggressive.
It's crazy too, because if you think about it, Sega's marketing was like very ADD. It was so like Sega hyper everything was just like high level energy, like super highly caffeinated, you know. And then Super Nintendo was just like a nice family game, like family system.
Yeah, that's true. It was very what's the word? Tamed.
Yeah. And then you can kind of see it too, like with some of the video games back then. Like I don't know, like you got more RPGs, right? And I had more like side scrollers, action games.
True. Well, I mean, I think what was it? I guess Earthworm Jim was like the spokesperson, or besides Sonic. Sorry, besides Sonic, I guess like side scroller would be Sonic. And Earthworm Jim would be more platformish, right? Yeah,
but I thought Earthworm Jim was multi-platform, wasn't it? I don't remember.
Well, what's considered multi-platform then?
Well, like if it appears on like more than one console, was Earthworm Jim on Super Nintendo?
No.
Oh, really?
No, that's why. Like, I remember I played it in the stores, or like Toys R Us, and I was like, oh my god, this game is pretty fun.
Yeah.
And then that was never available.
Oh, I'm looking it up right now. It is available. I think it might have gotten a release later or so.
Okay.
Let me see. But it was available for SNES.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of jealous that I wasn't aware.
Oh, it was released. So it was a several months difference. So in Sega Genesis was August, and then SNES was October.
Oh.
Yeah. So same year, but a few months difference. Interesting. Yeah. And then there was like other games like, I don't know, one of my favorites was actually making a comeback right now is Streets of Rage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that game was awesome. Like, I remember getting that game for a bargain. It was like $10 in the bargain bin. And that was so fun. Like, so fun. Like, I played Final Fight, too, on SNES. I didn't like it as much. I don't know.
Final Fight. I don't remember what that was like.
Final Fight had the guy named Guy. and Hagar and someone else, I forgot. It was pretty much a side-scrolling action fighter. Was it? It's kind of like Double Dragon, but it was made by Capcom.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think what I didn't like about SNES games like that, specifically Final Fight, was it didn't feel like it was very strong. Like when they were fighting, it felt like weak hits. Like, did you watch The Matrix?
Yes.
Do you remember the fight scenes in The Matrix?
The Tomo 1 or
yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember how it felt?
Are we talking about the one, all of it in general?
Yeah, in general, all of it.
No.
Okay. Well, if you do rewatch it, the fight scenes in The Matrix, they're choreographed well, but the sound design made it sound like a lot of like air whipping, you know? And there was no like impactful hits. As opposed to some of the Chinese movies that it's inspired from.
Yeah.
The Chinese movies, like you really hear like someone getting hit.
That's true.
That's how I felt with Final Fight versus Streets of Rage. Like the Final Fight hits were like weak, and the Streets of Rage almost sounded like you punched through like a trash can. You know, that sound when you punch someone.
Now I'm just imagining like when you say Street of Rage, punching through a trash can. It's just like, so you're angry in the middle of the street, just punching trash can. That's the game.
No, but you do that because
I know you do because you get items and stuff. But it's just so funny that I envisioned that automatically.
Yeah. Yeah, you punch, you break those barrels, and you find food on the floor, and you find what SNES games did you like that you probably thought were better than Genesis?
I think the one thing I really liked, the two games that I really liked.
Oh crap! Sorry, there was a cricket that just jumped on me.
Oh.
Okay, go on.
Okay. I think two games that I enjoyed one is Killer Instinct, and but that one was originally on arcade, right?
Yeah, but it didn't. It didn't get a Genesis release, I think.
No, it didn't. That's why it was like tipping the scale as well, because that game was there's three games. So first is Sega Genesis. First is Killer Instinct. That one I played when I was a kid, getting quarters and playing in the arcade, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And then once I had, like, my friend had it and I had it on our system, we played it a lot. Second game I think that really got me into was Donkey Kong. It came with the game for the system. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my god, my first Super Nintendo had like Donkey Kong, my first game. And the very last game is Mega Man X.
Oh yeah. Wait, so you didn't get to play Yoshi's Island on the SNES?
No, I didn't. I didn't really play a lot of Mario games, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was never like sold into the Mario franchise. Mm-hmm. I was more interested in all the other stuff around it. I think possibly the reason that I got into the Super Nintendo was that my cousin she had like a Super Nintendo at her place. Mm-hmm. And when I visited her, I would end up playing her system for hours. And then when she visited, she would bring her system.
Okay.
So I'm like, all I knew were that system. And I think like back then as well for us, we didn't really have the money or options to even have both as an option. Mm-hmm. So it's more like, okay, well, one or the other. And I guess you were brought in by the advertisement. I was brought in by like what my cousin had, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember the game that she had, and she would bring this over, and then we would we would be able to play it.
Yeah, I think, and then for me, the side effect was also, I think it caused me, well, it didn't cause me, but I really liked Mortal Kombat in the arcades. And when it was brought to the consoles, and it was brought to both SNES and Genesis, I don't know if you remember, but Nintendo censored Mortal Kombat for Super NES.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there was no way to put blood in it. So both games, when you got the game, there was no blood in it. But Nintendo was strict and said, no, absolutely no blood in it, right? And then Genesis had a code that you could put in to enable blood. So it was like ABACABB. Like, I still remember it. And it was funny because it showed up. So when you launch the Mortal Kombat game, it would show, like, you know, the intros and all of that, right? And then there would be one screen which is like the text that would just, like, you know how it types out the text, and then you just see it like fill up the screen. And you're reading it and stuff. And that screen was called the Code of Honor screen. So it was like talking about what the Code of Honor is, but that's where you input your code for the blood code.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah. So that was a side effect of, like, having the Genesis gave me the benefit of playing a more arcade, like, arcade accurate?
No, I was going to say a more violent game.
Oh, violent. Well, I guess. Oh yeah, like the fatality in Mortal Kombat for Sub-Zero, right?
Oh.
Do you remember his, like, iconic fatality?
No, I didn't know he was iconic. Like,
yeah,
he had
so
a big iconic, like,
yeah, so it's the one where he rips the guy's spine off. Do you know that one?
Oh, that was I didn't know it was him. I know of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the arcade, so the motion was like he would start to do an uppercut. Like, that's how the frames were. And then at the end of the uppercut, it's actually just him, like, ripping the spine out.
Okay.
So in the Genesis one, it kept that. In the Super Nintendo one, it was changed to a super uppercut. So the fatality was he would do the same motion of the uppercut, but then the person would just fly up like 50 feet in the air or something. That's all.
That sounds kind of lame, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the other things that just gave me more advantage on liking the Genesis side. What other games? So there was Streets of Rage. There was that. Sonic Spinball was really fun. So yeah, Sonic Spinball was you're pretty much playing Sonic the Hedgehog in, like, some shorter levels, and then like there's a certain part of the level where you jump in and then you become a pinball and you're playing a pinball game. But because you are actually controlling Sonic and the pinball machine, when you shoot up in the air and your character's in the air, you can still maneuver as Sonic.
Interesting. So
that was a cool mechanic, and because, you know, it's a Sonic game, it only appeared on Genesis at the time.
I'm trying to remember, but because I do remember I had a friend that had Sega, and I do play some of the stuff that he had, like, or borrow, I guess. And it was like, Sonic was definitely a big thing. I remember it was pretty fun as well.
Yeah. Do you remember any of the other ones?
Of the Sonic ones?
Well, of the, of just, Sega Genesis games that you played.
I only, played, 3 big ones, I guess. One was, Earthworm Jim. Sonic, 4. I played Comics. The guy.
Oh, yeah. The
panel, that was really cool.
Yeah, Comic Zone, I think.
Comic Zone, yeah, that's right. I think that was like the first not the first beat 'em up, but one of the few beat 'em ups that I really enjoyed back then. It's just really cool.
Yeah.
And it had a really different take versus all the other stuff that I've played. The other one what was it?
Oh, you remember the game Columns?
Columns? No, I don't know that one actually.
It's pretty much like a Tetris clone, but it's not Tetris. It's instead of, like, making lines, you are, like, blocks will come down in sets of 3. They're always like a long 3 block, but then each of the blocks are different colors. And when you press the button, you're switching the order of the colors, and then your goal is to match up the colors.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, that was a very addicting game too.
Did you ever play? I forgot what it's called. It was like the green guy, green
Vector
circle
Man?
with many circles.
Vector Man?
Huh?
Vector Man?
Vector Man, yes.
Yeah, I didn't play it, but I knew about it because I really wanted that game.
Me too.
But I never got to.
I only played it at Toys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The X-Men games were pretty fun on the Genesis.
Which one?
They had specific games.
Which one would you enjoy the most then, I guess?
I don't remember. I just remember when I was playing them, I used Nightcrawler a lot because you could teleport anywhere with him. I think it was X-Men 2 Clone Wars, but I don't remember exactly. But yeah, those were like really good games. They were Genesis only.
Oh, okay. I remember I played a few Marvel games, and they had X-Men as well. I think I had the X-Men game, and then it's like a side-scrolling beat 'em up.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then another one was like Spider-Man. I played like many different versions of Spider-Man. Then there were like, what is it? Oh god, the Power Ranger game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think. Sorry. The one that I liked. One of the games I just remember now is those Dragon Ball games, the Dragon Ball Z games, the old school one.
Oh gosh, yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, that was really cool on SNES. Yeah,
that was really fun because they had the whole idea of like flying in the sky. You find him, you hit him up and knock him down, that sort of thing. I was like, oh my god, this is just like what I watch every Saturday morning, but I'm playing the characters.
Wait, how'd you watch it every Saturday morning?
What do you mean?
On what channel?
Channel 9.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Of course, they had that for like up until a certain point, then it stopped.
Yeah, it's a sidetrack from our current topic.
Yeah.
And it showed at like, was it 7 in the morning, 6:30?
Yeah, like super early.
Yeah, and then I would record it just in case I missed it. But most time I would catch it and watch it and then go back to sleep or something. But anyways, it was really annoying because then it would go up to the Frieza arc
and then stop.
We got to like the Ginyu Force. Not even fighting them; they're just introducing the Ginyu Force.
Oh really?
No, they did fight, right? No, they did fight. Sorry, they did fight.
No. They stopped. I remember that they stopped. It really annoyed me. They stopped while Goku was charging up to be Super Saiyan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you never actually got to see him as Super Saiyan.
Oh, I missed that then. I got like only to like I only got to like the Ginyu Force. Like when he was fighting, oh my god. What's the red guy with
Raccoon?
No, not Raccoon. No, it was the Time guy, the Time Toad guy.
I forgot his name.
Yeah. But anyways, the Time Toad guy.
Yeah.
They were just about to fight, and I was like, all right, I can't wait for next week. And next week was flashback.
Oh yeah. They do that a lot.
Yeah, they do that so much. And each time, like you just get like a little bit more. You go back to flashback, and the next one is like, oh, okay, it's gonna start at like I don't know, from like Vegeta again, and then it'll go back up to that and just give you 2 more episodes, and then they stop completely.
Yeah, really annoying.
So annoying.
Yeah.
And I think at one point I found out about like the Asian channel having Dragon Ball, and I was watching that in Japanese.
Oh, see, so I didn't know about that. I found out that Telemundo had it.
Oh yeah, Telemundo had it too.
Yeah, so I was watching it. Yeah, I was watching it in Spanish, and I had no idea what they were saying, but it looked cool.
Yeah, but anyway, sorry. Let's go back to topic.
Yeah.
No, for me, I just thought, I think Super Nintendo for me felt like there were a lot more games, even though some of them were like super, was like the Super Nintendo version, like Super Basketball, Super Double Dribble, or Super Spider-Man, something like that. Super Contra. That was about Super Contra, but I'm speaking of.
No, Super Contra was Super C, and that was actually on the NES.
Yeah. Wait, really?
Yeah. Oh. SNES got Contra 3, I think, Alien Wars.
Oh yeah, Alien Wars, that's the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of more games, but Genesis had a lot of exclusive games as well that look really cool. And I kind of wish I got a chance to play more.
Yeah. I mean, the Genesis, though, as a system didn't do too well. And then, like, after that, Saturn didn't do too well. And Genesis had this peripheral called the 32X, and it didn't do well. Like, Genesis just failed at hardware, so then that's why they decided to go to making video games only. But it was weird because when they switched over to video games only, then all their Sonic games went bad. Like, they just started making worse games.
Yeah, like, I felt like you were saying they're making worse games. Like, there wasn't really a lot. They didn't have a lot of games going on for them, and the games they had, the big games, was pretty much Sonic and Earthworm Jim. That was like.
Earthworm Jim wasn't made by them, but their big games were Sonic, the Virtual Cop series. Was it House of the Dead? Jet Set Radio, a lot of Dreamcast games. Yeah. So they did have some big, like Panzer Dragoon, I think was another one. I don't remember. And they had that one weird game called Knights on the Saturn. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh man, yeah, I remember the stuff, but I don't remember the games.
Yeah.
There were a lot of like Sega specific games. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess like for me, it was definitely more of like the people I knew at the time had Super Nintendo, and I was just trying to fit in.
Oh, okay.
And there were there were a lot of games as well. A lot of game options.
I mean, I was an outcast for video games when I was a kid because I had the Genesis. Everyone else had SNES.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the nice thing was that people would want to play the Genesis games because they can't. Right?
Yeah, that's true. You become like a relic, a rare relic.
Yeah. So that part was cool. Dude, I had this one game too called Quackshot. It was the worst game ever. Did you ever hear about that game?
No.
You play as Donald Duck, but you're not regular Donald Duck. You're an archaeologist Donald Duck. And you're going around and you have a gun and the gun shoots plungers. And you're supposed to use your plungers. It stuns enemies, and when you upgrade your plungers, then some of them stick to walls for a little longer, and then you could jump on the plungers to launch yourself upwards. But man, that game was intensely difficult.
Oh, this is intensely bad.
It was just so difficult. I didn't get to enjoy it because I couldn't pass enough levels, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, you should probably try to watch some gameplay of it. It looks really quirky and weird.
Yeah.
It was one of the,
send me the link or the name again later. I'll check it out.
Yeah, it was one of the games I think my dad got for me without asking me what game I wanted. So he chose that because the cover art looked cool.
So since you brought a game, I'm gonna remind you of another game as well, Super Metroid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of good games on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I named the bad one.
Now that I'm listing it off.
Well, what was it? Street Fighter on Super Nintendo was better than the Genesis one.
Was it?
Yeah, mostly because of controls. Because Genesis for the longest time had 3-button control. So it was dumb because you know how like Street Fighter you use 6 buttons, right? So
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then the SNES controller would have 6 buttons. The Genesis standard was 3 buttons. It was A, B, C, and then start. So
wait, I thought they didn't have the side buttons?
No, they didn't.
Side?
No, they never had shoulder buttons.
Oh.
So later on, they did have a 6-button controller where it was like A, B, C, X, Y, Z, but it was all on the face, just like an arcade.
Oh, I do remember that one actually.
Yeah, but the original, like A, B, C, and start, if you played Street Fighter, it would be really annoying because your A, B, C is light, medium, heavy punch.
Yeah.
And then you have to press start. It doesn't pause the game. Start toggles between punches and kicks.
Oh god, that's so annoying.
Yeah. So you'd be doing like a fireball, then you have to toggle to do like a hurricane kick.
Wow.
Yeah. It was way annoying. I got used to it, but it was still really annoying.
Jeez. I'm surprised you didn't just quit the game.
Because that's the only game I could play.
What do you mean? Like that you enjoy? Or like fighting games?
Yeah, because at that time I think I already beat some of the other games I had. Like Mortal Kombat I played to death. No pun intended. So I was just waiting for Mortal Kombat 2, so I got Street Fighter.
Oh,
Yeah. But yeah. Even then, the controls still suck for Mortal Kombat 3 because like Mortal Kombat
still play that.
Yeah, so here's the other thing. So it's even worse for Mortal Kombat 3. So Mortal Kombat has a high punch, low punch, high kick, low kick, and block, right? But you have a 3-button controller. So how do you manage that? The way they did it was A is low punch, B is block, and then C is low kick, and then A plus B is high punch, and then B plus C is high kick.
Oh, it sounds so confusing.
Yeah. So you'd be playing the game and pressing combinations of buttons simultaneously and timing it with the other buttons in order to do combos correctly.
So I don't mean to be mean to you, Tony, but
you're gonna be like,
played a rather hard game back then. But now I notice you can't handle the more complex games that we play.
You mean like League of Legends?
Yes, there's like 4 buttons.
You know why? I think it's because League of Legends, every game that you play online and you're playing a live game. And you can't pause, you can't go back to training, you can't do any of that. Whereas for Mortal Kombat, when all the other games back then, I would just keep it on the training mode and then start practicing like on hour's end to remember the button combos. And it was mostly memorizing button combos, not like strategizing and when to use them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. It's a different type of thinking.
Yeah. Like if you played Killer Instinct and you played League of Legends, which one do you think is more complicated?
I guess true.
Yeah, because Killer Instinct's all about combos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get less anxiety when I have practice.
That's true. It's fine.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I need to download League of Legends again.
Wait, why?
Oh, I wanted to play it again.
Oh.
I know I don't have time, but still.
I mean, it's fine. I'm just curious.
Because I found a way. So you know how my laptop overheats? I found a good way now. So I would take a giant like premium ice pack that you buy to put in coolers, and then I'd wrap it in a paper towel, and I leave it on my laptop. So it doesn't wet my laptop, but it keeps it super cool. So then my processor can run at maximum power.
So you're doing it kind of like as a trial run?
No, I've been editing video this way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been working well.
But I mean, I guess before your laptop was kind of dying.
Yeah, before what would happen is in the middle of the game it would shut down because it'd be like overheating. Yeah, the processor can run the game, but it can't take the heat.
Oh.
Yeah, but if I keep it cool, it's fine.
So okay, yeah. I mean, that's fine. But I mean, you're streaming stuff now too. Doesn't it overheat?
Yeah, if I have the ice pack, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If I don't, then I stream at like 2 frames a second.
Jeez. Okay.
And then shut down. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the community question.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, like, I think that we'll wrap this up now. Since, so I guess from your point of view, Tony, would you say the Super Nintendo is better? You did mention
what?
You did mention that both of your favorite games, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, were horrible on the Sega Genesis.
Okay, fine. SNES is better.
All right. Yes, I converted him.
Okay.
You got mail. You got mail. You got mail.
So community question last time was, what's your favorite birthday memory? We talked about it last week. And let me pull that up again. So the only response we got was actually from Judge Greg. So I guess no one else remembers their birthday. Let's see. And I thought Judge Greg's response is really funny. So Judge Greg is the host of the Real Hero Talk podcast, and he's also the co-host of the Gamers Without Borders podcast. And he's also the managing editor for the Enthusiasts Network. I forget, did you talk to Judge Greg yet? Ever?
No,
okay.
I don't think we have.
Oh, okay. Alright, so Judge Greg says, I don't actually really celebrate my birthday. I had a really good workout, then a nice burger one year. That was cool. That was his answer.
I mean, it's fine. Like, I enjoy like small stuff too.
Yeah. All right. Do we have a question this week?
Not really.
Okay. How about we ask them, what was your favorite video game from the 16-bit era?
Okay. Did we ask that before? No, right?
I don't know. I don't track anymore. So we might be asking the same questions, but we'll just ask.
Okay, sure. Let's do that. So what's your favorite game from the 16-bit era?
Do you have to ask me?
You listeners.
Yeah. My favorite is Mortal Kombat, and your favorite is probably Mega Man X.
Yeah, okay. I feel like we by answering so easily, I feel like we asked the question before already.
It's okay. We may have different listeners. Who knows?
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to the final lap. Okay. You have anything to promote?
Check out Tony's new album on Spotify, iTunes, and what else?
Any major music distribution company, you'll find it.
And a kazoo.
Yeah. So yeah, just search for Fairy Tale Solstice. I'm gonna be posting, by the time you guys hear this, you will probably be seeing our 4th episode of Why So Similar. And it's gonna be going over wrestling games and the music from wrestling wrestlers and their intros, and then seeing what songs those sound like. A lot of that was suggested by Kinetic, who's the host of the Behind the Line Radio and also part of Enthusiasts. So thank you for those submissions. Otherwise, you guys can catch us on all the regular social media outlets. But yeah, until next time, No Time for Time Travel. Signing off, Herdiger and Warp Speed. See ya.
Bye.
I love Power Club.
Come with me if you want to live.
I love Power Club.
No time for time travel.